Hey, welcome to Parking in Paradise. Today is March 8th, 2023, and guess where we are? Bighorn country.
Oh, wow.
We indeed are in Bighorn country. We are within the Anza-Borrego State Park in Southern California, and Deborah's going to talk about what is here.
Hey, so before we get started, I want to remind you we are Parking in Paradise, and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when we post new videos. Right now we're hanging out in Southern California, and about once a week we're going on a hike out into different parts of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. Today we are at the Willow Campground. This is a primitive campground. It still has a fee associated with it. We'll give you all that information at the end. But we're just out for a hike today. And as Joanne said, this is Bighorn country. It is also the home of many other animals, including the roadrunner, the really cool, what is it called? Black-tailed jackrabbit. And there are a bunch of coyotes in this area. There are also bobcat and cougar. So when you're out here, you have to be careful to watch out for those. There are also lots of plants here. This is a biodiversity hotspot, according to this little kiosk here. And the ocotillo especially are just starting to bloom out here, which the hummingbirds love. The desert willow are not blooming just yet, but the desert lavender are blooming, and the brittle bush, and there are all kinds of primrose out here. So it's a really nice time to come out to the park. So stick with us as we walk through this campground and see what's out here. We're going to be pointing out really cool flowers that are blooming as we go along, and we'll learn more about willow.
We're just approaching one of the camping spots here. Every spot has a pavilion and a picnic table and a fire ring and a really nice space to put up your tent or your park your rig.
So look at this beautiful purple flower blooming over here. It is, I'm not sure what the name is, but I'll look it up and I'll put it on the video. Look how these blooms curl like that, or coil. That's called a coil. And that's a unique part of the plant. This is interesting. Over here, this datura, also known as it's called datura discolor, is the scientific name. It's still green. Typically these are dying off at this time of the year. It does still have the fruit on it. This is also called the thorn apple or the sacred datura. It has many different names. It's a nightshade plant. So here, just about to bloom, this is the wild nicotine or nicotania. It's out here. I've only seen it a couple of times. It's usually in areas like this. They're a little bit more shaded, and probably this holds water better than other areas because of the rock formations. There's a lot going on right in this area. So if you come down here and you look closely underneath this datura, you can see this is a ground cherry. And this one is just blooming. It doesn't have the little tomatilla-like fruits on it just yet. It's just starting to bloom. There's probably others around here that do have the little fruits on them. We'll look at that in a bit. Look at this stone. Isn't this amazing? All the shimmery mica in that. It almost looks like it's wet, but it's not wet. It's just amazing. And then down here, underneath this awesome stone, I think we found a nicotania plant that's blooming. Isn't that exciting? If you get right down in here, you can see the little blooms. look at this rock and rock formation here, this hillside. It's beautiful. It is just covered with blooming scorpion weeds, and the bees are going nuts over here for these beautiful purple flowers, and they smell so good. I can smell them. And right down here, if Joanne can zoom into this little plant that's hiding kind of in the middle here. This is called ragwort. And it has little tiny yellow flowers on it. It's so cool. The leaves are pretty big on this plant for a desert plant. I just love looking at flowers. You know, it's I'm taking this botany class that's offered by the state of California, and it is amazing everything that I'm learning about the desert flowers. You know, a lot of people think you come out to the desert and it's barren. That couldn't be further from the truth. There are so many beautiful plants, wildflowers, trees, bushes. It's just a great world to discover out here, and we're having such a good time. This ground cherry is further along. It must have already bloomed like a few weeks ago, and it has the fruit, which look like little tomatillas. It's in the same family as the tomatillas. It's in the nightshade family, and it's just way cool. They look like little lanterns actually hanging down. See the brittle bush up here? It's way up there on the rocks. I'm not going to climb up to it, but it's so bright yellow right now. I bet the bees are all over it. I don't know if you can see up there above the brittle bush, but there's a beautiful desert lavender blooming. Okay, so we came across one of my favorite flowers. It is so small, but so brilliant. Look at this. Doesn't that stand out in the desert, this bright pink? Even the stalks on the plant are red pink, and it's just gorgeous. And you see that little yellow on the inside? Do you know why that little yellow is in there?
No, why?
That little yellow is in there to attract bees and wasps. They can see yellow. They do not differentiate red from green, however. So it's really interesting, right? So if a flower has a little bit of yellow on it, and it's a red or an orange or a pink flower, then it's probably pollinated by bees and wasps. And that little yellow is what tells them to come here and pollinate it. If it's just a solid colored flower, like a orange or red, then it's probably pollinated by hummingbirds, because hummingbirds see red and they're attracted to that. They don't care if there's yellow on it or not. They'd still be attracted to this little flower, but it's pretty small, so it most likely is pollinated by bees and wasps. And right here beside this monkey flower is what we call a popcorn flower. And there's many different species of popcorn flowers, but they're a little bit difficult to differentiate. And these are really cool little tiny white flowers that are all throughout the flora of the desert right now. They're annuals, and they popped up about a month ago, and they are just like taking over the desert right now. It's really cool. When you drive down the road, you see like this blue-green carpet of popcorn flowers. And this really gorgeous tree out here is called a smoke tree. We got into quite the discussion in my botany class the other day about whether or not this is actually a tree or if it's a shrub. And we decided that we would agree to disagree, because about half the class thought it was a tree and the other half of the class thought it was a shrub. But this blooms later. This blooms like around the end of June, the 1st of July, and it will have beautiful violet blooms on it. There aren't very many people around to see it though, because it's usually around 110 degrees at that time of the year. So unfortunately, this gorgeous plant doesn't get a lot of attention because of that. So we're wrapping up our hike out here at Bow Willow. There's a few things about this campground. It's really cool. It's very quiet out here. It's about 2 miles off the road up a dirt road. It's a little washboardy, but not terrible. And you know, the campsites are a little bit small, but you can put a small travel trailer or a truck camper or van in there. I wouldn't bring a big fifth wheel or a big Class A in here. But, you know, something 20 feet or less, I think you'd be fine. There is water. It does say it's unsafe drinkable water or drinking water, so it's non-potable. But you could use it to wash your dishes, take a shower, that sort of thing. So here's the sign. This is all on the honor system for paying your fees. There is a day use fee of $10 per vehicle. There are a few places you can park around here and just walk around. And then a campsite fee per night, $20. And if you have additional vehicles, it's $10 per vehicle. And if you're over 62, there's a discount. So you can get $2 off any of these prices if you're over 62. So it's self-pay. You just fill out the little envelope that's in here, put it in the box, and you're good. There are vault toilets here. As I said, there's non-potable water, and there are also trash cans, so you can empty your trash. There is a bit of a cell phone signal here with Verizon. I only got 1 bar, but it was enough for me to check iNaturalist and make sure I was giving you the right names for those plants. So you might want to take that into consideration when you're coming up here. There aren't very many places around here that you can get cell signal, so if you can get it here, that's great. And probably with a booster, it would be even better. So yeah, I really recommend coming out here. There is a 30-day per year limit to how long you can stay at any of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park campgrounds. So, but you can stay 30 days, and that's awesome. Let's see, is there anything else that we need to talk about? Today's a beautiful day. It's about 70-75 degrees out here, a little bit of a breeze. Do be prepared if you come out here for the sun and for the wind. The wind blows a lot out here, but other than that, it's beautiful. It does get cold at night. Always make sure you have enough water in the desert because there are very few water sources around here. And if you have a dog, you can take your dogs wherever a car can go, but they cannot go on the hiking trails. So keep that in mind. Is there anything else you want to add, Joanne?
Thank you so much for tuning in. We know that your time is really valuable, especially these days, and we're grateful for your presence in our lives. And so take good care of yourself and each other. Always use kindness and the best of intention. Take good care. Catch us at Parkin' in Paradise.